It can be argued that in the last decade plus, this company has been defined by one single decision. Your decision. A chair shot to the back of Roman Reigns and the complete end of the group, The Shield. I know you've talked about this a million times. You've explained your decision. But with time comes clarity, and I am curious, knowing what you know now, in this moment, do you believe that you made the right decision that night?
Short answer, yes.
Okay.
But it's very complicated. I think with hindsight being 2020, you look at where everybody sits now, and I was happy it was the right decision. I feel that because, yeah, there's this animosity between myself and Roman, but I don't think that we as people would have evolved in the same way. And you look at kind of the magic that we've been able to create individually and together over the past 14 years. It is now, I think, 12 since that chair shot.
Crazy.
The last dozen years, you look at the magic we've been able to create and the evolution of us as people, and from him, from the big dog to the tribal chief, head of the table, myself, now the visionary, all of these little facets of our characters and of our personalities that exist and that have created memories for our fans wouldn't exist without that chair shot.
Yeah.
And while I think the chair shot itself and the decision was probably made in haste and made without the foresight of what it would become, I never imagined Roman Reigns would become the tribal chief.
Yeah.
Based on, the resentment and, and the pain and the PTSD from that chair shot. And I never imagined exactly how our paths would go. But I think what it did was give us a chance, right? It gave both of us an opportunity, a chance to step out on our own and become the things that we were meant to become. And I just don't know, had we had a different catalyst, had it ended amicably, would things have snowballed the way they did? And you look at what the WWE has become in the last 12 years, and, I'll take a little bit of credit.
Well, it's interesting you say that.
I've taken a lot of hate.
You know what?
I've taken a lot of hate, so I'll take a little bit of credit.
When you make a decision like the one you made, you're going to take some feedback.
Yeah.
But it's interesting you say that, because I think there are a section of fans, and it's a large section, I think, that aren't sure if there is a tribal chief without that decision.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel in some ways that maybe you kind of were the architect of both yours and Roman's career paths that night?
Yeah, and yes, the answer is yes. I think 100%. I think, again, that's the catalyst. That's the moment that kind of sets everything in motion. And if you start to look at where we are now and you trace it all back, but it does start even before that. We spend a year and a half, nearly 2 years together in the Shield. And between myself kind of mentoring Roman and sort of teaching him everything that I knew from an in-ring perspective and a backstage perspective, I think all of that before the chair shot, it was important too.
It's like there's before
Yes.
the chair shot and after
There's
the chair shot.
100% two different timelines.
Yeah.
I think if you go into the multiverse of it and you try to fantasize
What's
about
that other timeline
Yeah.
like right now where
We don't
you
know.
don't do that?
I don't know. And I don't know.
Do you ever think about that?
I think about it all the time. Because there are so many times over the years when I have regretted that chair shot, wondered if I made a mistake, questioned everything that I've ever done. I mean, you look at, there were some rough years. There were some really rough years for me, for him, for this company, whether we were going to be able to take the thing to where we wanted it to go, whether both of us were going to be able to be the people that we were meant to be. And so there was a lot of doubt. Did I do the right thing? Was it all for naught? Was it a waste? But looking at where we're at now and everything that we've been able to accomplish individually, I mean, to me, there's no other answer. It was the right call. And I do think that it, for better or worse, sort of shaped who the tribal chief is.
But it's interesting that there has been times where you've regretted it.
Of course.
So, like many things in this business, it's highs, it's lows. There could be potentially a time down the road where maybe you regret it again, based on what happens between now and a couple years from now, or no? Am I off base?
I don't think so.
Okay.
There's something about, I alluded to it the night after Night of Champions when I was kind of talking to Roman, kind of talking him into this match and why he needed this more than me. And I alluded to the fact that this may be the last chance for the two of us to get in the ring together on a show in a moment of this magnitude. Not that either of us are retiring, in the next few years, like we're both in the primes of our career, but you think about all the possibilities.
Yeah.
All of the different opponents, especially a lot of the young guys that are coming up, the Obas, the Brawns, the Javons, all these young guys who are coming up and they're really trying to get these spots that we currently hold. There's so many possibilities. You just never know. You never know when you're going to get your opportunity to get there, do this thing. My point is, I think that it feels like we're closing in on the end of whatever this era is. It feels like we're closing in on like kind of the final chapter.
Okay.
And I don't know that for sure, but it certainly feels that way. Something feels a little bit different about this matchup than the other ones that we've had. Back in 2016, Money in the Bank, we weren't even near the end. We were just getting started. You look at 2022, the Royal Rumble, it didn't feel like finality. There's something about this one that just feels like this is our chance to close the loop on this and kind of move the industry and WWE into the next phase, whatever that's going to be.
Do you think he feels that too?
I know he wants it.
Why?
I know. He wouldn't have taken the match if he didn't want it. I think I told him that he needed it, and he agreed that he needed it. And I think he knows that he needs closure on this thing. Yeah, I think he would give me, I don't know about credit, maybe credit's not the right word. He would place blame on me for the bad parts.
For you, it's credit. For him, it's blame.
Yeah, he would place some blame on me for the bad parts of the Tribal Chief. But I do think, as you've seen what he has become, especially since WrestleMania 40, and kind of the atonement that he's had to go through and sort of the demons he's had to face himself, I think there's part of him that wants to put it behind him as well.
Yeah.
In a weird way, we feed off each other and we use each other for motivation. And, that chair shot and that betrayal, that is a really big motivator for him. But at some point, like, I don't know, it just feels like, I feel like he wants the closure, Whether he gets it or not, that's a different story.
Yeah, time will tell. We talk about this chair shot, your betrayal of the Shield. Most people don't get to the top without hurting some people along the way, making some tough decisions. How do you justify the, maybe, for lack of a better way to put it, bad decisions you've made while condemning some of the things that Roman has had to do to become the Tribal Chief?
I don't actually make a ton of apologies for the things that I've done. I think that's the industry, and that's how I get mine.
Okay.
Like
I love how candid you're being.
That's how I get mine, because look, there are some people, Roman being one of them, like he was born into the right family. He was given the right opportunities. Like there are some guys who they're going to be like, hey, we want you to stand inside in the middle of the ring in Madison Square Garden and hold up the Larry O'Brien trophy, okay? Mm-hmm. That's Roman Reigns. There are some guys penciled in to the WrestleMania main event a year in advance. That's Roman Reigns. There are some guys who are going to get asked to fly to the Hamptons and go to the white party. There are some guys that's for, and that's Roman Reigns. And for me, I was chasing that for a long time. I was like, why can't that be me? Why can't that be me? And the only way to get mine, because I'm never going to be those things, was to find ways, to find cash-ins, to take moments, to find ways to kind of circumnavigate the system. I had to go around it because I was never going to be given those things. And so I don't ask for apologies. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, woe is me at all. This is what I had to do to get mine. This is what I had to do to stay in that conversation. And
you're playing a different hand than he was.
I was playing a different hand, so I don't regret it. In that sense, I go, this is what I had to do I had to make these moments on my own because I just wasn't given the things that he was, and he's done the things he needs to do to keep that spot. And so I don't think either of us would offer too many apologies for the way we've gone about things. It is what it is. We're running two different races, and I'm okay with that. Finally, it took me a really long time to go, okay, I don't have to be Roman Reigns, and actually, I don't want to be Roman Reigns. I'm satisfied with whatever my legacy is, and I think that's the important part. Like, I can go home, I can look my wife in the eye, I can talk to my daughter about my career, and I can be extremely happy and proud of what I've done and sharing that with them.
Do you respect the way Roman got to the top of the mountain?
You know, there's one thing about, respect. So there's kind of the other side of that. My perspective, I see it as, he's starting on third base. From his perspective, and I can see this, that is a level of pressure that maybe I will never understand,
Sure.
right? But it didn't matter if he failed. It didn't matter if he wasn't great at what he did. So, yeah, there was an expectation, but he could go out there and say, suffer and succotash, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter. He was still going to get the opportunities. Mm-hmm. If I go out and I lay an egg, whether it's a promo or a match, whatever it is, I may not get another crack.
Stakes are different.
I dropped to the bottom and I got to find my way up. And so there has been a moment in my career, I won't say who, but it was mid-2010s, and I'm trying to figure out who I am. And I get told by someone that I respect a great deal that I'm not the star that I should be. And that hit me so hard because rewind a few years back to NXT, and I get told by Triple H, and this is a very public story, that I'm on the chopping block. Mm-hmm. These are situations that Roman Reigns will never understand. These are expectations that he will never have to deal with. So I don't resent Roman as a person for what he has and what he was given. I suppose more than anything, I resent the system. I resent the way it is. And gosh, even and this might not be a popular one, sometimes I resent the audience for accepting that. And I think that part, again, might not be popular to say, but it's my truth.
It's how you feel.
It's just how I feel sometimes, and I get it, but it is hard for me to swallow sometimes.
Well, you and I are both sports fans, right?
Yeah.
We love sports, and most sports fans agree that numbers don't lie. And when it comes to the things that matter most, facts are facts.
Yeah.
And you do have Roman's number. Mm-hmm. So despite the fact that Roman has been able to beat Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers, it's a nice list.
It's a great list
of accomplishments that he has.
He's got all of them.
He can't beat you.
Not when it matters. No.
What does that mean?
It's a nice feather in my cap. Yeah, it's really nice. It's a good.
I can tell you. I don't know if I've ever seen you smile this big.
It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. Well, look, it's like I got his number.
Yeah.
And when the chips are down,
when the stakes are the highest.
When the stakes are the highest, when it's a main event of WrestleMania or a pay-per-view title match, like he kind of buckles under the pressure, and I'm there to pick up the pieces. And so I like that. That feels good to me. Yeah.
You're glad I brought that after this interview?
Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about. It's wins and losses. And Roman
Yeah.
might be really good at a lot of other things, like really, really good, better than me at a lot of different things, for sure. Like I said, he is the guy that you can send to all those parties, that you want to stand in the center of the ring, that you want to put in the main events of WrestleMania. But when push comes to shove, like the bell rings, and there's one thing that Roman Reigns will never, ever, ever, ever be better than me at, and that's professional wrestling. I'm the best. I taught him everything he knows, and I'm the best at it. Not just now, but of all time. And there's no chance that that's ever going to change between me and him. It's just not. So when the bell rings, I will find a way. Just like I always do, I will find a way to beat Roman Reigns.
All right, well, this will be my final question.
He's been good,
At
so I'm
SummerSlam.
excited about it.
Thank you. At SummerSlam, you versus Roman, is there any part of you that believes the future of WWE is in many ways at stake in this match? between you and Roman. Do you feel that this match could alter the future of WWE in some way?
I think we won't know exactly what the butterfly effect is until we sit down in 12 years and look back on it the way we're looking back on that chair shot and the way we look back on the Shield and what the impact was. I don't think we'll know. It feels to me like this is as big as it gets, and in some ways, the end, if that's what this is, feels like a new beginning, because it does feel like there's something different on the other side of this. For me, for him,
It's a turning point in some way.
something, yes, there's some sort of seismic shift. It does feel that way, and I don't know what that is, but there's something in the air, and it does feel a lot different this time.
So then I'll ask you this. What are the stakes for you personally going into this match? What does a win, another win,
Yeah.
mean for Seth Rollins?
Well, first of all, it means that I can get back the title that I didn't lose. You know, that's a big one. The World Heavyweight Championship is, I feel like it's kind of my title. And so, you know, having to watch Roman take it from CM Punk, who's another guy I love so much, at WrestleMania in the main event, that really was like a thorn in my side. And so to be able to come back and get myself in this position and get that title back, that'd be big. And I think to be able to beat Roman again and have his number, it would do a lot for me. I don't know, in a way it would sort of allow me to rest easy.
Yeah.
You know, it would allow me to maybe take a deep breath, because I think there's part of me that doesn't know entirely who I am and what my legacy is without that statistic.
Yeah.
I think that's such a part of me, and a thing that continues to drive me as well as Roman. So if we lose that in some way, I don't know what that does for me, you know? So I have a lot at stake as well. Like, I would have to figure out who I am on the other side of this if I can't get that W. And on the other side, if I do get the win, I think it's kind of a feather in the cap for all the hard workers out there. You know, for the people that don't get to start on third base, for people that don't get the silver spoons, you know, it's proof that with hard work and like just hustling, like it still matters, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it still matters for some people. It's not just about who you are or who your daddy is or who your cousin is. You know, you get out there and you put in the work and you do the right things and you hustle and you keep grinding. Like, there are good things on the other side of that. So I've always believed in that. That's how I've done everything in my life and in my career. And so I'm hoping that that could sort of be my mantra on the backside of this thing.